Hi everybody, it's Kit and welcome to another video by the Entropy System. With dissociative identity disorder, we have a consciousness that is split into multiple parts. So what does that mean about our subconscious? Specifically, what happens when we dream? Well, that is what I'm going to be talking about with you today. That being said, dreaming is something that's kind of confusing for us. Every time we think we get mostly a grasp on what's going on, then something happens, we're like, oh, I guess there's an exception to that. I also haven't been able to find any research specifically involving dreams and DID, so I'm just going to tell you a bunch of anecdotal information about what we experience, and hopefully that will shed at least a little bit of light on how something that's as little understood as dreams goes on with something as little understood as dissociative identity disorder. So to kick it off, the question we get most often is, when the body goes to sleep, are all the identities also sleeping? For the most part, I think the answer is yes. I know that, it's not like we are wandering around in the headspace, while the body is conked out. Like, we dream, we're also a part of it, we're also getting rest. But I know that Jonathan and Jacob have the ability to enter dreamscapes and create dreamscapes and interact with Wynn through dreams. And so I don't know if that means that they are part of the sleeping mind and they're just lucid dreaming and Wynn can't lucid dream, so they're creating a dream for her, or if they're like awake, whatever that would mean, and creating this world that Wynn can explore while she sleeps. I don't know. Also, going against the idea that we all sleep at the same time, there was a night where Kim was really passionate about creating this Digimon-based card game, and she was trying to think of like all the rules that she could apply and how she could make it a fun game, and no, before you ask, it wasn't a fully developed idea, and so we don't have like a cool card game in the works. But Wynn was in the body, she was fronting, and she went to sleep. And she would wake up periodically, like she was having trouble staying asleep, and she would wake up during the night. Her mind was immediately buzzing with Kim's voice, working out all the little details of this card game. And every time she woke up, Kim would be like further along in the thing, as if she was still thinking about it while Wynn and the body were sleeping. I don't know how to explain that one. Like I said, this whole thing is Leia. Okay, you can lay on my lap if you stay down. Specifically, other than that one occasion with Kim, to my knowledge, when the body shuts down to go to sleep, so does everyone else. The second question that we get a lot is, do we like switch in our dreams, or do we each have separate dreams? We do switch when we dream. A great example of that is last night. Wynn was having a dream, and at one point I suddenly found myself in this dream as if I was co-conscious with her, and then I wanted to say something, and then suddenly I was saying it. I was like, oh, I guess this is my dream now. And then I was the one who woke up in the body after that. Wynn is almost always the one who wakes up in the body in the morning. But because I was dreaming, I was active in the dream, and then I woke up, makes me believe that that was like an actual switch, and my consciousness took over like the frontal conscious subconscious area, and then I woke up in the body, so it was all tied together. This also ties into the idea that only one dream goes on at a time, and only certain ones of us are actually in the dream, or actually experiencing this dream. Wynn will sometimes wake up in the body and have like shakes that we would experience after nightmares, but not be able to remember a dream. And then Karen will front, because she's, of everyone who's gonna have a nightmare who's not Wynn, it's most likely to be Karen. Karen will front, and suddenly the details of the nightmare will flood in. So that tells us that Karen had a nightmare. The fear kind of leaked out into everybody, but it was Karen's nightmare, and she was the one experiencing it while the body was sleeping. I don't ever recall a situation happening where we would wake up and one of us would remember one dream and one of us would remember a completely separate dream, as if we were both having dreams at the same time. It's always just been like one string of dreams, and either only one of us experienced it or there was a switch that happened during the dream. So multiple of us experienced it sort of in that way. But there weren't ever parallel dreams going on. The biggest issue that we've had when it comes to sleeping and dreaming, though, is what we call the reality break when we wake up. The best way I can explain this is in a normal situation, a person could be having an extremely vivid dream, but when they wake up, they almost immediately realize, oh, that was all just a dream, and it starts to fade and it feels like a dream. It doesn't feel real anymore. There might be like lingering emotions, like if you were having like a really vivid nightmare, you're like, oh, my heart's still pumping, but like you don't think that those like dust monsters are still coming after you in the real world. You're like, oh, wow, that was scary and I have emotions to process, but that was definitely just a dream. That reality break doesn't come to us naturally. We would wake up from a dream, and because there was a sudden shift in reality and we would suddenly be in bed and we remembered going to bed the night before, logically, we would say, oh yes, that was just a dream. But all of the things we saw in the dream, all the things that we physically felt, that we emotionally felt like a real, legitimate waking memory. And so we would go throughout our day and have sudden like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. Wait, that was the dream. And it would haunt us throughout our day. It would affect us. And this happened with trauma nightmares. This debilitated us. We oftentimes couldn't leave the apartment because we were so riddled with fear, feeling like this trauma had just happened to us hours before. And even when we had good dreams, like happy dreams where nothing in the dream was bad, it was still really troubling because we'd wake up and our sense of reality was skewed. Like logically we could tell ourselves, okay, that happened while we were asleep, therefore it was a dream. But no matter what logic said, it still felt like it was real. And we would go throughout our day not remembering what part of our life was a dream and what part wasn't. And if we dreamed like multiple nights in a row, our perception on things was so distorted. We didn't remember which conversations were real. We didn't remember what fears we had were real. Like, it was awful. It was awful. Theory on that, when you're co-conscious but you're not fronting, you take in information and it kind of feels dreamy, like a little bit not real. And then when you come out front, suddenly things are tangible and touchable again. We are used to processing that like dream-like memory as real memory, because it is real memory in our waking hours. We just weren't in control of the body at that time. We were co-conscious, and so everything's a little iffy, but we still process it that, yes, that happened, and I need to respond accordingly. When we would wake up from the dream, it was just be like we switched out front. So our brain was still just like, oh yes, that happened. And that is by far the weirdest part about dreaming with dissociative identity disorder. I have no idea if other systems experience this. I know I've talked to, I think, like one other system about this specific topic, and that is something that they experience too. I don't know how common this is. I don't know if this is specifically a DID thing or if it's a dissociative disorder thing in general, but that's how it works for us. All right, guys, that is everything from me. Please remember that you are loved, you are valuable, and you are valid. You guys have a wonderful day, you beautiful and tropical fish. I love you. Mwah! Bye! Hi everybody, it's Win. I want to take this opportunity to give a huge thank you shout out to Shoshi Bauer, Odessa Trujillo, and Lily Andrews, and all of our other patrons for helping support this channel and making what we do possible. If you are interested in becoming a patron, a link to our Patreon is in the description below. If you are interested in sending us fan mail of any kind, our P.O. Box address is also in the description below. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye! Oh, and in case you guys were curious, the dream that I was having last night where I started fronting was a dream where the system was becoming super best friends with Thomas Sanders, and that is a dream I would super love to have come true. So Thomas Sanders, if you ever see this and you want to make our dream come true, message us and become our friend. But don't tell me that my laugh sounds fake, because Dream You told me that my laugh sounds fake, and I didn't appreciate that one bit.